It started with a cramp, just a little one. Right side, under the ribs. He thought it was gas. Maybe he slept wrong, maybe it was the soup. But by morning he couldn't stand straight. By noon he was on the floor. And by evening he was in surgery, emergency dialysis, blood pressure crashing, kidneys shutting down like lights in a blackout. The doctor looked his wife in the eyes and said, "He's drowning, from the inside." Pause. You don't forget a line like that, because it sounds dramatic until you realize it's exactly what happens. When your kidneys give out, your body fills up with fluid, with toxins, with what you were supposed to let go. And here's the part no one talks about. You don't need a disease for this to happen. It starts slowly, silently, years before any test blinks red, while you're still laughing, walking, drinking your morning tea. But under the surface, every day your kidneys are filtering 50 gallons of blood. Every day they're working harder than your heart. And every year past 50, they get tired, not from age, from the little things, the everyday things, the harmless habits that quietly clog the filters. You want to know something wild? Most people don't die of kidney failure. Not directly. They die of the side effects. The chain reaction, high blood pressure, heart attacks, stroke. Fatigue so heavy it feels like your soul is underwater, and it doesn't happen suddenly. It happens the same way a pipe rusts, one drip at a time. Here's what's worse. The early signs. You won't feel them. You might think, I just need more sleep. You might say, it's probably just stress. You'll pop a painkiller, drink some water, push through. Until one day your legs swell, your breath shortens, your skin changes color, your world narrows. And by the time you're in that hospital bed, the damage is done. Now, here's the good part. You can stop it. You can reverse some of it. And you don't need some magic berry from the Himalayas to do it. You don't need to spend a fortune on supplements with labels you can't pronounce. The truth? Your kidneys are begging for help, but not in words. They speak through your habits, and food is one of the loudest voices. Today, I'm going to show you the foods your kidneys love. Simple, real, everyday foods that clean the filter, lift the load, and give your body that quiet exhale it's been craving. Because this isn't about health. This is about freedom. Freedom from the pill bottles. Freedom from dragging feet and foggy mornings. Freedom to walk, move, dance, live without the silent weight of something slipping silently beneath the surface. You ready? Good. Let's talk about someone who thought it was just a cramp and changed everything. His name was George, 72 years old, retired mechanic, lived in Indiana, owned the same recliner for 38 years, and swore it had healing powers. George wasn't a health nut, not even close. He liked black coffee, extra strong, no water, no milk, no nonsense. He had toast every morning, white bread, extra butter, slice of ham. Lunch? Whatever was fast. Sandwiches, canned soup, microwave meals, and dinner. Well, George loved his red meat, said it gave him real strength, the kind his father believed in. But there was one thing he didn't talk about much. The fatigue. Not the regular kind, not the long day I'm tired kind. This was different. George used to be up at 6, moving, fixing, doing. But now, by 10 a.m., he felt like he'd worked a double shift. His legs were heavy, brain slow, skin pale. He started falling asleep in the middle of conversations. His wife, Lillian, noticed first. "You're not yourself, George," she said. "Something's off." He shrugged. "I'm just getting older. That's all." But deep down, he knew something was wrong. He felt it every time he stood up too fast, and the room tilted. Every time his hands trembled, trying to open a jar. Every time he looked in the mirror and didn't recognize those dull eyes staring back. But the final straw came on a Saturday. He bent down to tie his shoe and couldn't get back up. His legs just didn't work. He had to crawl to the couch. And for the first time, George felt scared. Really scared. The doctor ran some tests, blood work, urine, ultrasound. Then came the words he never expected. Stage 3 chronic kidney disease. Pause. But I don't feel sick, George said. The doctor leaned in. That's the problem. See, George didn't drink enough water, ate too much sodium, took painkillers for old back injuries, ibuprofen, almost daily. All small things. But together, they added up. Year after year, like grit in the gears, his kidneys were overloaded, not dead, but limping. And, if nothing changed, he'd be on dialysis in 5 years, maybe sooner. Now, here's what makes this story matter. George did something about it. He didn't throw money at it. He didn't go on a crazy detox. He started small. Water in the morning, lemon slice, less salt, more greens, swapped white bread for rye, red meat for salmon twice a week. He found out about foods that actually clean the kidneys. Not cleanse like the ads say, but support, relieve, help the body do what it already knows how to do. 3 months later, more energy, clearer skin, blood pressure, down. 6 months, no more naps during the day, stronger grip. Walking every morning with Lillian, brisk, fast, smiling, George got his life back. Not because of a miracle, but because he listened to the warning before it screamed. And now he's the one telling others, because once you know how to help your kidneys, really help them, you don't go back. Next, I'll show you what George learned and what your body's been waiting to hear. Imagine this. You're standing in your kitchen, and right next to the sink, there's a filter. You pour water through it every day, over and over. It works perfectly. At first, but one day, you notice it's slower. The water pools on top, takes longer to drip through, and if you look inside, you'll see the problem. The filter's clogged, tiny bits of debris, gunk, mineral buildup. Nothing huge, nothing obvious, but it adds up. Now pause. That's exactly what your kidneys are dealing with, every single day. Kidneys aren't just two little organs sitting there like quiet passengers. They're workers, constant, relentless. Each one is packed with around 1 million microscopic filters called nephrons. They don't just flush stuff. They analyze your blood. Second by second, they decide, keep this, remove that, send this back, throw this out. But over time, those filters get hit with everything you eat, drink, breathe, or put on your skin. Too much sugar? They struggle. Too much protein? They strain. Too much salt, soda, pills, chemicals from ultra-processed foods? They start to choke. Now here's what most people miss. The kidneys don't complain right away. They're silent heroes, until they're not. And that silence, it's dangerous. By the time your blood work shows a real issue, you've already lost 30 to 40% of kidney function, sometimes more. And you don't grow new nephrons. Once they're damaged, they're gone. But here's the twist. The ones that remain, they can compensate. If you give them less junk to process, if you ease their load, if you give them real support, they bounce back. Think of it like this. Your kidneys are like a highway toll booth. Let's say you've got 10 lanes open, traffic moves smoothly. But over the years, 7 of those lanes close down. Now all the cars are squeezed into 3 overworked lanes. Things slow down, break down, backup builds, toxins stay longer than they should. But if you reduce the traffic, if you send fewer trucks, if you clean up the road, even those 3 lanes can keep things flowing. That's where the right foods come in. Not as a cure, but as co-workers. You're not fighting disease. You're helping your own body do what it already knows. Filter, balance, protect. See, your kidneys want to work well. They just need you to stop throwing wrenches in the gears. And here's the kicker. You don't need a PhD to understand this. You don't need a lab. You just need to know what helps and what hurts. You need to know the signs, the triggers, the quiet overloads hiding in everyday habits. And then you change course. You do what George did. You clean the filters, not with pills, but with food. Food that's been here longer than we have. Food that speaks kidney. Let me show you how, and once you see it, you'll never unsee it. Tip 1. The morning glass that changed everything. George used to wake up groggy, heavy eyes, dry mouth, Felt like his brain was stuck in mud. First thing he reached for? Coffee. Strong, black, boiling. "I need it to feel alive," he used to say. But you know what his doctor told him? "George, that coffee's not waking you up. It's draining what little fuel you have left." Why? Because your kidneys need water to function. Pure water. First thing in the morning. Overnight, your body loses moisture. You breathe it out. You sweat. You dehydrate. And the kidneys, they're like workers showing up to the job with no tools. Now add coffee. Diuretic. Pulls more water out. Makes the kidneys panic. So George tried something simple. Before the coffee, before anything, 1 tall glass of room temperature water with a slice of lemon. Not for detox, not for flavor, for flow. That lemon kickstarts digestion. Water hydrates the filters, wakes up the system, gently. After 2 weeks, George stopped reaching for coffee out of desperation. He drank it because he wanted to, not because he needed it to function. He had more clarity, fewer headaches. His skin changed, even his digestion improved. So here's the rule. Before anything touches your lips in the morning, water first. It's not a trend, it's a reset button for your kidneys. Tip 2. The silent salt trap in your fridge. George loved canned soup. Quick, warm. "Tastes like home," he said. But here's what the label didn't say loud enough. Over 800 milligrams of sodium in one bowl. Now pause. Your kidneys process salt like a strainer. Too much? And they swell, the blood pressure spikes, the arteries stiffen, and the kidneys scream in silence. And the worst part, salt's hiding everywhere. Not just chips and fries, but bread, cold cuts, pickles, sauces, even healthy frozen meals. George made one change. He started reading labels, really reading. He looked for anything over 300 milligrams of sodium per serving and put it back on the shelf. He started flavoring with herbs, turmeric, parsley, garlic, cumin. Lillian called it relearning how to cook. But the difference? Huge. Swelling in his ankles? Gone. Blood pressure meds? Cut in half. His doctor was shocked. "What have you been doing?" George just smiled. "Less salt, more sense." So next time you open the fridge, ask yourself, is this helping my filters or clogging them? Tip 3. The kidney's favorite snack and why it works. It started as a joke. Lillian walked into the living room with a bowl and said, "Doctor's orders. George, meet your new medicine." Inside, blueberries, a handful, washed, cold. George rolled his eyes, but he ate them, and something weird happened. He felt good after, not heavy, not sluggish, just clean. Here's the thing about blueberries. They're loaded with antioxidants, especially one called anthocyanin, that deep blue pigment. This compound fights inflammation, reduces oxidative stress, and for kidneys that's gold, because kidneys hate inflammation. It's like pouring hot oil over fine machinery. And processed snacks, those crackers, cookies, even protein bars, they spark that fire. But berries, they cool it. George made it a habit. Every afternoon, instead of chips, he'd reach for berries, sometimes blueberries, sometimes cranberries, sometimes frozen cherries. Tiny switch, huge ripple. After a month, he wasn't just feeling better, he looked younger. Lillian said, "Your eyes are clearer." And she was right. Your kidneys are filters, but filters need clean input to give clean output. So if you want to snack, snack smart. Snack kidney-wise. Water in the morning. Low salt, real berries. Simple? Yes. Easy? Not always, but powerful? More than you think. And next, we wrap this up, but not with science, with something deeper, something for the soul. Take a deep breath. No, really. Right now, in through your nose, out through your mouth. Feel that? That's life moving through you. And it's worth protecting. Not out of fear, not out of guilt, but out of love. For yourself, for the people who still need you, for the mornings you haven't lived yet. You've made it this far, through hard years, through losses, through noise and change, and all the little things that tried to wear you down. You've already won more battles than most, But now it's time to stop surviving and start thriving. Because here's the truth they don't tell you. Your body still wants to fight for you. Even now, even at 60, even at 75, your heart still beats, your kidneys still work, your lungs still rise and fall day after day asking for one thing. Help me help you. That's all. Not perfection, not a total life overhaul, just little loving course corrections. Water instead of soda, fresh instead of boxed, a walk around the block instead of another hour on the couch. These aren't punishments. These are gifts. Because when you give your body what it truly needs, it responds. Not always instantly, not always dramatically, but slowly, steadily, quietly. And one morning, you'll wake up, and your legs won't feel like cement. Your head will be clear. You'll breathe deep and feel light, like you dropped something heavy you didn't know you were carrying. And you'll smile, not because you became someone new, but because you finally came back to yourself. So listen, don't wait for the crisis. Don't wait for the ER. Don't wait until a doctor says you're running out of time. You're not. You're right on time. Start now. Your kidneys, they're listening and they're ready.